This windshield trim piece flew off while I was driving and scared the crap out of me. So let me explain what happened, how we're gonna fix this, and what you can do so it doesn't happen to your BMW i3. A few weeks ago, I was driving when the weather turned bad out of nowhere and the wind really picked up in a matter of minutes. I didn't think much of it at the time, but just a few seconds later, I heard a loud thump coming from the right side of the car. I was afraid a branch or some other debris hit my car, but I couldn't pull over due to the rain and being on a high-speed road. Once it was safe to pull over, I got out of the car and realized that what I saw fly away wasn't a branch, but an actual part of my car. The A-pillar trim piece was ripped off the car by the wind. I was shocked and even went back to find this original trim piece, but I could never find it at the end. This story is almost too wild to be believable, and I wish I had the dash camera footage to prove it, but unfortunately I forgot to save it. Anyway, the piece I'm holding here is a new OEM part I ordered online. These come unpainted though, so I decided to wrap this one in vinyl to match the hood that I did a while back. This process is pretty easy when the part is off the vehicle, but of course does take some time to complete if you aren't a pro, and I'm definitely not a pro. So it took me around 30 or so minutes to do this one piece. If you'd like to attempt wrapping parts of your BMW i3, make sure you get the really good vinyl. This one, for example, allows the air to come through, so bubbles are very easy to get rid of, unlike the cheaper stuff. Luckily, it turned out pretty well, so we can install it on the vehicle. But first, let's talk about why this flew off the car. I'm sure many of you have driven your BMW i3s in all kinds of weather and had no issues at all. But no matter how strong the winds, parts shouldn't be flying off your car. However, I did have the windshield replaced on this car just a few weeks before this happened. Why? Well, if you follow this channel, you know that I've bought this car at an auction and it had a lot of issues. One of those issues was a smashed windshield. So there was a big crack right here. This part was broken. This is still broken, so I had to get the windshield replaced. And since I bought it at an auction, I couldn't go with insurance, so I decided to go for a slightly cheaper option. And of course, if you follow any of the online forums, you know that owners warn you about only going to the dealer for this type of work, but I figured I knew better than that. Well, turns out I was wrong. I took my car to Safelite and on the surface they did a great job. I've had no issues with the windshield itself since the installation. However, unlike any other vehicle out there, BMW i3 has the windshield surrounded with these trim pieces that must be removed in order to replace the windshield. BMW, of course, decided to use these flimsy plastic clips to hold this in place. So when they removed the trim pieces to replace the windshield, some of these clips probably broke off and the trim became looser and much easier to remove. This is why the A-pillar trim flew off while driving. The horrible design from BMW and, well, the lazy install job that I got. So what can we do to fix this? Well, as I mentioned, I bought this brand new piece and wrapped it, and now I'm going to be very careful when I install it in my car. So let's do that now. Unfortunately, one of the clips on the car is actually broken, but I think the rest of the mounting points should help it stay in place permanently this time. So there are a few things to consider here. Of course, we have these clips that are holding it in place, but also we have a bolt right there that we need to access in order to make sure this will be properly secured in place. That's basically it. So just clips and then this one bolt. Luckily, we can remove this trim piece from the door. So I'm going to open the door and then we can kind of lift this off. We also have a clip right here. So I'm going to pull this clip out as well, very carefully. Okay, so I removed both clips. Looks like I'm going to have to find a spare one of these, since on this one it's missing. This one should still be okay. It goes like that. So of course, to get to that bolt, we're going to have to remove this trim piece, and I believe it's just a couple of clips. think that should give me enough space. And we're gonna need a T30 socket for this. Now I can just cut these out so I can put the clips in there, because the clips have to be on this piece right here. So these clips are basically gonna go on this trim piece like that, just like this. And then when it's mounted, this piece will slot into it. So this one is as close as I have in stock. I just bought a bunch of these for like $12 a while back, and this is the original one. It's a little bit bigger, but I think it should work just fine. Yeah, this head's a little bit bigger, but if anything, you can trim that. Now I'm just gonna line up these clips on the inside. So it's almost in. Now we just have to clip it in. I think I'm lined up. This is also lined up, more or less. Okay. These are getting there. Ah, that's scary. I don't want to break any of the clips. So obviously we've learned that's the dangerous part. Okay, that went in. That looks good. This is all lined up. Very nice and flat right here. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna do these clips right here, and then we'll put the bolt back in. And if you're wondering how do I know how to do this, well, I'm just following this clip higher up. So I'm gonna align it the same way and push it in. I want these to be as tight as possible, so I'm gonna use the ones that are a little bit harder to put on, but yeah, that holds it much better. All right, the screw goes back. So the hard part's sliding this trim into these clips now. And if we do it correctly, it will be a nice fit. Awesome. Push this back in. And the last part is this little rubber piece. With everything reassembled, we are finally done. I am very happy I was able to fix this for under $100 and make the car look just a little better. I've also learned a valuable lesson. Be careful who you let work on your car, especially if it's unique and specialized like this. And while I'm glad BMW used a lot of light materials in this car, the plastic clips are definitely not my favorite and probably not the best choice for trim pieces in my opinion. So let this be a warning, and hopefully it won't happen to any of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!